What's up, co-reporters? Welcome back to my channel. I've got an update for you guys about Artem Chigvintsev. Do you guys remember that a report came out that he had some sort of an altercation, allegedly, with his wife, Nikki Bella, and that he called the ambulance asking for attention, claiming that she had thrown shoes at him, only for him to be the one arrested. When authorities showed up in place, he was charged with some very serious charges, actually, I believe. He was charged on corporal injury to spouse. And now the news is coming out that that charge against him has actually been dropped, you guys. So let's get into this story. Shout out to People Magazine for getting this scoop. I'm actually rather surprised to hear this because to me it kind of feels unfair that you can get arrested, right? You can be charged. You can have your mugshot plastered all over the internet, like in permanence. This will never go away. And you can lose your job just for the police to go, actually, never mind, we're dropping the charges against you, right? Like, okay, great that these charges are dropped, but what happened to him and his reputation is never going to go away. So I feel like, you know, it feels kind of painful for him, so to speak. Right. And I'm not saying he's innocent. Just because charges are dropped against a person doesn't necessarily mean that they did not do the thing that they were accused of doing. It simply means that there was not enough evidence to bring to fully commit to pursuing those charges. Right. It could also mean that the alleged victim in the case was not cooperating in order to help get those charges against you to stick. And this is something that you typically see in DV cases. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but I'm just reminding you guys that it is not out of the norm for a DV victim to refuse to cooperate with an investigation and thus their alleged, perpetrator being let off, you guys. So there was an official police report, or sorry, I should say press release and everything, describing why it is that the police decided not to continue on in pursuing these charges against Artem. And I really want to get into it with you guys because you guys have been here since the beginning when I first talked about this story. And I really want to make sure that I've got all of my I's dotted and my T's crossed before we go ahead and dismiss this story in its entirety, right? I really want to see this through, so to speak. So let's take a look at this press release. I think this is probably one of the first times that I've actually seen a police department releasing a full-blown press release about charges that they have filed against somebody. This is very, very interesting. So let me go ahead and pull it out. The DA declines to file criminal charges. Womp, 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 womp. Drum roll, please. Let me just make sure that it is properly adjusted for you guys as well. Nope, it's not. All you guys see is me. So let me go ahead and pull it out here on the big screen. Napa County District Attorney's Office press release. Napa County DA declines to file criminal charges against Artem Chigvintsev. Napa County District Attorney Allison Haley announced today that her office has declined to file criminal charges against Artem Chigvintsev, 42 years old, in connection with his arrest on suspicion of felony DV. The decision to not file charges against Artem was made after a thorough review of the criminal investigation and careful evaluation of the evidence presented to the DA's office. Quote, "While we take every arrest seriously and stand firmly against DV, we have an ethical obligation to only file charges when supported by the evidence," Napa County District Attorney Allison Haley said. "We are required to prove any and every criminal charge beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest standard in the American criminal justice system. If the available evidence doesn't rise to this level of proof, then we cannot ethically file charges. Domestic V can either be filed as a felony or a misdemeanor and has a statute of limitations of 3 years or 1 year, respectively. At any time within the statute of limitations, the Napa County District Attorney's Office may revisit the case if it learns of other incidents or otherwise learns of facts or evidence not previously known." So they're making it clear that although they are dropping these charges for now, it doesn't mean that in the future they won't have any more information in order to go back and recharge Artem, if they saw fit. The Napa County District Attorney's Victim Services Division works closely with victims of domestic V and other crimes and links them to available resources whether charges are filed or not, DA Haley said. So Nikki Bella did receive those resources as an alleged victim. The Napa County District Attorney's Office does not typically issue press releases when it declines to file charges against any given individual. However, did so for this case due to the intense media interest it has received since Mr. Chigvintsev's arrest. The Napa County District Attorney's Office will not be releasing any further information about this case, including the identity of the alleged victim, and any questions pertaining to this case may be directed to the Public Affairs and Media Officer, Carlos Villatoro. So there you guys go. And this is the press release in Spanish. So there you go, you guys. They are not going to continue on with the initial charges that the police levied against Artem. Like I said, I find it very unfortunate that, you can have this mugshot, you can, lose your job, this, that, and the other, just for it to be, seemingly for naught. But at the same time, they made it very clear in the press release, which is basically what I was saying prior to pulling it up, that this just means for now. It means that there's not enough evidence. It doesn't mean that this did not happen. It just means, and she's also doubling down and saying, hey, like, just so you guys know, there's a statute of limitations here. It's about 1 to 3 years, depending on the charges. And if any new information comes out, AKA, which could also mean if the alleged victim decides to start cooperating, we will come back and pursue these charges against Artem. So just so you guys know, he is not 100% out of the woods yet. He's got 1 to 3 years before he is fully out of the woods when it comes to these charges. Now, I do want to ask you guys before I sign off here, what do you think really happened? Do you think that they found that there was mutual combat? Do you think that they found, I know some people might say they found that Nikki was the aggressor, but if that were the case, I believe that they would be pursuing charges against Nikki. So I personally am ruling that out. However, if you believe that that could have been what happened, definitely feel free to leave that opinion in the comment section. Another possibility is that Nikki, given that she and Artem share a child together, perhaps she did not want him to actually, fully be charged or anything like that, or to go to jail or prison. And so she did not cooperate with the investigation. Remember, the only reason that the authorities were even involved in this in the first place was because of Artem. Artem called for an ambulance, and then he called and tried to cancel the ambulance, but they came anyway, right? Knowing that something was up. They don't just cancel, they knew. So they showed up, just out of safety. I think this is an insurance thing too. Like once that call is made, they have to go and physically see that everything is okay. And when they were, at the scene, they noticed that Nikki had some visible, marks or bruising or something like that. And that is why Artem was charged, despite being the one who called for an ambulance, So in my opinion, because Nikki is not the one that called, even though she was the one that the police saw to be the victim in the alleged situation, that tells me that she would not be willing to cooperate with an investigation against Artem. And I don't know if it's for herself or if it's for her son. I don't know. I can only speculate, just like you can only speculate. So I've done my fair share of, rambling here, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you guys' perspectives in the comment section. So please do leave them. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for celebrity news and pop culture updates. Okay? Take care, you guys. Bye.